Alexander Zverev, the 2020 US Open runner-up, is going to have to sit out this year's tournament as he rests and heals from a surgery performed on his right ankle. Fans are extremely sad to hear the news. Everyone was looking forward to seeing him play. Here's everything we know. First off, why he can't play this year. The tennis star tore ligaments in his right ankle while playing the semifinal match against Rafael Nadal at the French Open in June. He got injured really badly during the second set tiebreak at 7-6, 6-6, and had to withdraw as Nadal got to his 14th French Open final more than 3 hours into the game. However, the German tennis player came back to the court on crutches and waved to his fans before leaving the court, teary-eyed in a wheelchair. The 25-year-old was on the edge of his very first Grand Slam title 2 years back at Flushing Meadows, just before Dominic Thiem came out on top in a fifth set tiebreaker and went home victorious. This was the first time a man overcame the odds in a 2-0 deficit during the final of the event since Ted Schroeder suffered the same fate at the hands of Pancho Gonzalez in 1949. Zverev won the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo in 2021 and then came back to the US Open semifinals, being defeated by the legendary Novak Djokovic in 5 sets. Let's talk about why he had a feeling this could happen. Zverev had actually dropped hints here and there that he might not be able to play. Here are his exact words. Although it will be very, very close. Maybe I could say I'm ready. Best of 5 is difficult, Zverev said. Every day it really gets better. That's why I don't want to say yet that I won't play in the US Open. Back in July, he said he'd play at the US Open only if he felt like he would be prepared to compete for the title. He hasn't settled on an exact date for his comeback, yet he's an ambitious man and wants to win everything he participates in. He'll only play when he thinks he has a fair shot at winning. Otherwise, he'd sit it out. Now that Zverev is officially out of the US Open, he is hoping to be ready for the Davis Cup finals stage, which takes place after the US Open. In a recent interview, the tennis star's agent confirmed that we'd probably now get to see him make a comeback at the Davis Cup finals. Now that he's officially ruled himself out of the US Open, he's hoping to recover enough to be prepared for the Davis Cup finals stage, which is scheduled to happen after the US Open. Moving on to what else happened at the US Open. Stefan Kozlov shifted into the main draw for the tournament. This news could mean that Rafael Nadal is going to be given the number 2 seeding for Flushing Meadows, which would let him avoid facing number 1 seed Daniil Medvedev until the final. Riley Opelka, who won 2 titles earlier in 2022, also withdrew because of injuries that aren't quite done healing. He managed to get to the 4th round of the US Open last year. Another American, Jack Sock, replaced him in the main draw. After the incident, the 25-year-old had to have surgery for 3 torn lateral ligaments. Yikes, that must have been unpleasant. At the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, Zverev also got himself a gold medal for Germany in the men's singles tennis. The US Open, one out of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments in tennis, is scheduled to take place between August 29th and September 11th. Zverev not being able to play definitely disappointed fans, but it worked out pretty nice for Nadal, who's all set to move to the French Open final on Friday, after Alexander Zverev announced he wouldn't be playing. Nadal, who's a 13-time Roland Garros champion, is going to have to play against either Marin Cilic from Croatia or Casper Ruud of Norway for the final. Next up, why Nadal is glad he won't be facing Zverev. Zverev is still not well enough to play. But then there's Nadal, who's still reeling from the abdominal injury that made him withdraw from the semifinals at Wimbledon. The Spaniard made an underwhelming comeback in Cincinnati in a 3-set loss to eventual champion Borna Coric. Now that he's got confirmation that he won't be going up against Medvedev until the final, we'll definitely encourage him. Despite his obvious physical setbacks, Nadal, undefeated at Grand Slams in 2022, is still the one predicted to lift the title in New York in September. The Spaniard, who's also a 5-time former US Open champion, returns to Flushing Meadows after 3 whole years. During his last outing in 2019, we saw him lift the title. The 36-year-old managed to get some practice in America's Midwest before entering New York. Here he got back to his his training on the Arthur Ashe Stadium court. Of course, he must have taken nicely to the news that he won't have to face Zverev on the court anymore. His bid to end 2022 as world number 1 was made even stronger as a result. If he lifts the title, the Spaniard is going to walk away from Flushing Meadows at the top spot of the rankings, despite any other results. Supposing the other results are in his favor too, Nadal could very well find himself at the top, even if he's defeated as early as the quarterfinal. Having pretty much no points to defend until the end of the season, he's officially the favorite to wrap up the year as world number 1 for the 6th time in his career. Finally, Zverev is still ahead. The current world number 3 dropped out from the top 2 in May just last year. The Spaniard got a chance to come back to that group recently, being near Alexander Zverev and trying to get a good result in Cincinnati. What he actually got was an early loss, and he didn't even manage to pass the German. Zverev still stands 130 points ahead of Nadal on the most recent ATP ranking list, holding on to his place in the top 2 despite not stepping onto the court for more than 2 whole months. Playing for the first time since his withdrawal at Wimbledon, the Spanish tennis player suffered a 7-6, 4-6, 6-3 defeat against Borna Coric in the Cincinnati second round. Borna emerged the winner after 2 rounds and 51 minutes, and so the match took some much-needed points away from Rafa in the year-end number 1 battle. Nadal, however, is still the head of the ATP race after 2 big titles in 2022, meaning despite this loss, he still has a decent chance to become world number 1. Other related news, starting with, why is Naomi Osaka not sure if she wants to play mixed? Former WTA world number 1 Naomi Osaka recently stated she'd be down to play mixed doubles at US Open, but that she's scared of doing it since she thinks she could disappoint her partner. She said in a tweet that she wants to play mixed doubles in the US Open because she's never played a full match in her life. Kim Clijsters responded to the tweet, encouraging Osaka. She assured her that it would be fun. Ex-Wimbledon finalist Zina Garrison also reacted to the tweet and encouraged Osaka to go ahead with it, saying that it would also improve her singles game. Looks like everyone thinks this is a good idea. We'd love to see Osaka play a mixed game. Once again, Nick Kyrgios is in the middle of some controversy. You might already know of the incident with the drunken woman who Nick Kyrgios threw off center court during the men's final of Wimbledon in July. Well, she's seriously taking legal action against the tennis player. Anna Pallas, 32, the woman in question, was temporarily ejected from the Wimbledon Grand Slam final after the tennis player complained to the umpire, saying she had 700 drinks. Pallas has denied this claim, saying she only had 2 drinks and her only intention was to support Kyrgios. Anna, who's a Polish medical lawyer, has chosen to move forward with defamation proceedings against Kyrgios so she can clear her own name. She issued a statement through her solicitors in which she said that she attended the final of the Wimbledon Tennis Championships with her mom, and it was something they'd been looking forward to for quite a while. And while they were at the event, Kyrgios made a false and baseless allegation against her. We'll have to wait till the court case to see what happens. Wrapping it up with, will we get to see Djokovic at the US Open? Djokovic's notorious choice to not be vaccinated for COVID-19 has forced him to skip out on plenty of opportunities this year. The 35-year-old wasn't allowed to play in Melbourne and could also be skipping the US Open, although the Australian Open champion recently said he was hopeful he'll be included in the draw when the Grand Slam kicks off on the 29th of August. The CDC relaxed many of its COVID-19 restrictions recently, which includes bringing in some rules for unvaccinated US citizens into line with those who are vaccinated. Many people have questioned the scientific logic behind not allowing Djokovic to come to the US. It makes even less sense when you consider how CDC's rules, which let unvaccinated Americans travel overseas, were recently changed. There's a big chance we could be seeing Djokovic at the US Open. That's a wrap for this video. When do you think we'll get to see Zverev make a comeback? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.